thinking about yourself a lot. This is the time for you to serve others. This is the time for you to understand that to be a good citizen, to be a good American, you have to give back to others. So find ways as you get older to volunteer with various causes, to participate in the process of governing your community or governing the nation. And all of that will make you a better citizen, a better person. I also want you, as you think about, you know, what a reciprocal engine is, what an afterburner is, and all that kind of good stuff, you also have teachers here who can expose you to social studies and expose you to the arts. I, in high school, had to sit through all of those kinds of classes, wondering, when do I need this? I only found out when I became much, much older, 50, 30, 40 years later, when I understood the importance of being exposed to one, social studies, but especially the arts. I still remember sitting there 50-something years ago, 55 years ago, listening to Ravel's Bolero and being kind of amazed by it, but not really sure I'd ever need to know that again or ever be associated with it again. But to this day, I remember Ravel's Bolero. I remember the portrait, The Night Watch, and it stuck in my mind all these years. I remember having to read the Canterbury Tales. All that was part of the educational enrichment that I got as a kid. So don't resist it. It's a part of the education to make you a better rounded citizen, and it'll help you no matter where you go. So I don't know where you're going in life. You don't know where you're going in life. Some of you may be, you know, real geniuses, and you know what you're going to do. I didn't. The Army came along. I found it. Found something that I loved. I found something that I did well. I stuck with it. So whatever path you start down, as it branches into different choices, just make sure that you take the choice that lets you do something that you love doing and that you do well. If you love doing it, do it well, and continue to do it well. Success will come your way. Success in terms of money to raise a family and have a comfortable life. But there's a greater kind of success, and that's the success of just being satisfied, being happy, believing that you're doing something that is worthy, something that serves your community, something that serves your country. And so it's a great pleasure for me to be here. I will take a couple of questions if anybody has a question or two. And then I want to take a look at this beautiful facility before I have to get off and give a speech downtown. Anybody? Yes, sir.
Let's stand and project so we can get a question.
What were some main guidelines and morals you kind of lived by that really got you through all the major accomplishments?
Always tried to live a life of integrity and honesty and ethical behavior. If you portray that to people, they will think very highly of you. I've always tried to perform all my jobs in a selfless way. You know, it was important to do what is expected of me and to work hard and to give my boss, whether it was the president or a general or a captain I worked for, give them the very best that I had. And that was recognized, and it always kept me moving ahead. I constantly sought to improve myself as an infantry officer, improve myself as a diplomat, but study constantly. Studying never ends in this world. You've got to keep learning new things. Somebody asked me one day, what was it like when you became Secretary of State? You were an infantry officer. What did you know about being Secretary of State? I said, well, I had some other experiences that prepared me. But the biggest weakness I had was I didn't know anything about economics. And to my great distress, I was just surprised, not so much distress, I learned that economics was driving a lot of diplomacy and political life. And I had to immediately, in my 60s, learn a great deal about economics in order to be able to conduct foreign policy for the United States of America. And so constantly be learning and relearning. Use the marvelous information tools that we have now with the internet and other forms of communication. And the other thing I would encourage you all to do, even though you may be focused in one field, read about the whole world. Become informed about what's going on throughout the world. And not just by listening to a cable news channel. No offense to anybody here who might think. Boy, I caught that one. But read newspapers, read magazines, read books that tell you about the world, learn about geography, learn about politics, different religions, become an informed citizen, and just don't focus on one little slice of the political world and you never leave. One of the dangers, I think, with the internet is there's so much information out there, so many opportunities, but so many people are just focusing on one little slice of the information umbrella, or what's under the umbrella, one little slice of it that reinforces their beliefs. Anybody can, enjoy reinforcing your beliefs, but it's better to hear about the beliefs of others. So expand your horizon. And for young people, I like to tell them, don't believe everything you're told or hear. Make sure that you challenge things that seem, well, wait a minute, is that right? And that makes sense. Don't just accept it because somebody old like me told you. Go read and keep challenging things you hear so that you can be a better informed citizen. Okay? Yes, sir.
People has been telling me that you would have been a great president. I was wondering, as myself, why did you not take advantage of it?
Well, yeah, thank you. I don't know if I would have been a great president, but there were people who said I should run and people who said I shouldn't run. And at the end of the day, when I went through this, it's now almost 16 years ago, I was never a politician. I'm a professional infantry officer. So I never expressed any political views for most of my career. And then suddenly I'm out of government. I've written this book and everybody's asking me about it. So I felt an obligation to think about it and consider it. And I did, with my family, with a lot of friends. And I never felt that I had the passion or that fire in me that would have made me a successful campaigning and working politician. It just wasn't me. And it wasn't something that my family wanted to do. So it was like not 50-50, it was 100% me and my family. And so I didn't pursue it any longer, and I said, no, this is not me. And what you really have to do, it goes back to your question, you always have to be truthful to yourself. Study the issue thoroughly. Think about it. But at the end of the day, go deep into your heart and into your instincts and see, is this right or wrong for me? Always be honest with yourself while you're being honest with everybody else. And the honest answer I came up with, there wasn't a single morning I woke up and I really thought it was the right thing for me to do, so I turned away from it. I get the question every day, though. I'm flattered by it. Sort of. It's nice. It's nice of people to ask. They ask, do you regret it? No, I don't regret it because I think I made the right choice back then, and I found other ways to serve. I already promised a lot of other things that I do, and serving as Secretary of State. Okay? Yes, sir. What's your name?
I'm Ian.
What do you, how's your, what GPA you got, man?
I think I got a.
You think you got it?
I'm not sure actually. What I have
Okay.
I was wondering, what was your inspiration or drive to devote your life to helping America's people?
Yeah. When I left the Army, I started to do a lot of different things. The Army was great. I loved it. I was a soldier for 35 years. But now I wasn't. And so I was doing a number of things, traveling around the country, and I kept running into groups of youngsters who were not on a path going anywhere. And I felt that we had to do something about it. And then one day in Florida, I was talking to a group of kids at the Boys and Girls Club, and I was giving the same story. I had great parents, immigrant parents, and the same story. And when I was finished, a young boy raised his hand, and he looked at me, and he goes, 8-year-olds will nail you. I can snow an adult. You can't snow an 8-year-old or a PFC. And he said, well, General, that's wonderful. You had that kind of family, but what if you don't have that kind of family? I don't have that kind of family. Can I make it? And so I said, yes, you can, because there are people who come here to build this club for you. They volunteer to come and spend time with you. They believe in you. And so believe in yourself. And don't let where you came from or the color of your skin or your background or anything like that hold you back. Believe in yourself